Suffering in Seattle. Lifelong resident in Seattle talks about the changes that she's seen taking place. Of course, Seattle is a big hub for the tech giants. So it's inundated with liberal nutcases, and how it's turned Seattle into a liberal cesspool, just like they do every place they go. Or any liberals listen to this, listen closely, will you? This is what you're doing to our world. This is what you're doing to yourself. So again, there's if you like this, you hit the like button. If you care, you share. And of course, if you really want to impress me, go get some of my work. And wear these messages around, because we can only win if we fight back. We can't let these assholes think that they got control. We don't even want them to have an inkling of that. So, thank you for your support. And without further ado, let's get to this one.
There, or I would have been. It's unbelievable what's happening. Unbelievable.
Really? You've seen the changes?
Well, it turned so liberal. We have all the big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, they bring in, there's nobody that was a Seattleite ever. I mean, I've been there for 60-some years. There's nobody left. And they're just a bunch of young yippies who have all the answers to everything. And her. Oh my God. And they're taxing, they're doing a head tax because we have so much homeless. I mean, my God, the tents are everywhere. The needles are by the Tacoma Dome or the games, the Mariners and the Seahawks. You walk right through because we're paying for them. We're bringing them in and taking care of them.
What's sad is, like you brought up, the young ones don't have any memory of what it used to be like.
No.
They think this is normal.
And they want everyone to pay for everything. Yeah. They don't want to work. I mean, the Amazon people do, but the people don't get. My dad, went to the war and they worked, and they have a sense of responsibility and commitment, and they don't know about that. They just want it all given. Free school, free medical, free, bring it on in. And we're doing that up there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, we're seeing changes that happen very rarely. I mean, you think about this. Throughout our entire existence as a species, it's been generation after generation, kind of flows naturally in its natural course. Technology would come in, but it's still, it would build up the pace of things, and would each time throw us into another realm of dealing with how to adjust to it. But now the changes are happening so rapidly, and they're happening completely outside the realm of reality.
Right. Kids don't have a clue.
I mean, they're on screens.
Right.
They're in a virtual reality.
Yes. Have you seen that show, Player One? The houses are stackables. They're mobile homes.
Yes.
And everybody walks around like this with those things on because the world is so dismal and so awful. They're in virtual reality. It's like our phones. It's like our phones.
Thank you.
And the next thing is going to be wearing those virtual, because their living is so awful. You should watch it. It's like, oh my God, that's us.
Actually, that came up. I was just at Branson at a conference, True Legends on transhumanism. Exactly what we're talking about with the whole road Kurzweil, the AI technology, right?
Get lost in that world because it's so awful here.
And the leaps and bounds it's taking now, and everything is correlating with exactly what you're talking about, and the environment you're living in, because these people actually believe that will become sustainable.
Yeah.
It might to a point, but it's going to eventually, because it's not built in reality.
No.
It's not built in the natural flow. It's not built on God itself, because it completely eliminates anything outside of, a spirituality to it.
Yeah.
There's no spirituality in machines.
No.
I mean, they just ain't going to happen.
And that's we're losing that stuff.
Well, I was talking to a woodworker out here the other day, makes furniture.
Oh, nice.
And it was this whole thing about, we got same thing. It was the spirit that goes into making those joints, fitting it right. Right. But because now you can, 3D print the chair.
Yep. Yeah. And so all this craftsmen that have been doing it their whole life, and nobody gets how beautiful that was. I can do that for way less or way quicker. Everything's quick, right?
Yeah. But what we lose as in humanity by doing that.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to spend your time with now? What? More games?
People are gone. It's going to be a sad state of affairs. Because really.
Well, I don't see, and this is of course very hardcore but it's just basic reality. Reality isn't always fun. The numbers, no matter how you look at them, even in the best of circumstances, we're looking at a big cleansing that's going to have to take place because a lot of people are not going to be able to cope with the changes.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the people that will cope with the changes don't want the ones that don't cope alive anyway.
Right.
Because what are you going to do with all these useless food eaters is what Kissinger called us. Yeah. I asked a Harvard professor out here one time. He was in economics, was he? Yeah. I asked him, I says, what is this AI robotic technology going to do to the people that are walking around us right now in the next 10 years? And he said, well, about 50% of them will be out of work.
Wow.
And I says, and what are we going to do with all these out of work people? And he looked at me cold, and he said, in the past, we've killed you.
Oh, you already see the jobs going. The malls are closing like crazy. Everyone's buying online.
Well, indeed.
You just see that now.
Now, the argument is, well, every change has always brought about. They said the same thing about when the machines came in, but then people adapted, and found and people adapted and found other businesses, jobs, and things to do. And they say, well, the same thing will be happening here. Again, the point of a simulation. How long did that take from go to point A to point B? Now we're going from point D to.
Oh yeah, there's no jobs. There's no need for jobs.
No, but there's no need for people.
Right.
So.
Oh, I feel so bad for the grandkids.
Well,
I do. They're just little, and it's like, oh, I had such a wonderful life. 50s, 60s.
Well, our generation was the last one that probably will ever remember what it was like to be free.
Oh yeah.
We'll ever know what it's like to go exploring in the woods.
Yeah.
We'll ever know, again, have a connection to the earth in some way.
Right.
To reality.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it. We're the last. I always say, December's children. We are December's children. We are the last ones to have seen a full cycle of not anything that'd be normal.
Right.
From here on out, it's not normal.
Not normal.
It's gonna. They got our DNA mapped. They're messing with our DNA.
Oh my God, the phone follows you everywhere. We don't even know what. Maybe we don't. I don't want to know. We don't want to know what's really going on in there.
It even gets where. One of the things that we're talking about at this conference was did I bring this? One of the books. I bought a whole bunch of books up there, and of course, leaning on these subjects that I want to talk about. Well, here's one of them. This is a good fictional one. It's called Blood Lies by Sharon Gilbert, but she uses fiction. She's a biologist by trade, and she got into the microbiology, how they're chimeras, how they're. We've got half animal, half human beings in cages. Now we have them. So they're trying to build super soldiers out of these,
And there's movies about that.
Dr. Murrows Island is true.
Oh my God.
It's real. It's not. Everything.
Is that what that's about?
Well, yeah, but that's why she's put it into fiction, because what Dr. Murrows Island was you see, there's one thing about the elitist or the transhumanist, that they've known this for a long time. They've been looking at it and seeing the cycle where it's going. So they've been hoarding the history, hoarding the technology, the hidden history, and using it for themselves, knowing that the time comes when they don't need us anymore. They have to willingly get us to go where they want. That's why they, get them to learn to love their servitude. Right?
Yeah.
So, and everybody says, well, how are we going to get them to march into the camps, or how are we going to get them to put the shackles on the chain? Easy. You charge them $1,000 for the cell phone they can get to walk around.
Don't take that phone away.
And they pay $200 a month, so you can continue spying on them, and you can find out where they go, what they bought, what their temperature is, what the temperature is around them, what the conversations they're saying, so they can find. I mean, they've done studies. This was on even the news, where they took the battery out of a cell phone, went around town, and then went home and did the tracking, and it still showed with it.
Just on the battery.
With the battery out of the phone.
Wow, it's crazy. I know that. I believe that. I believe it. I know it. Because my phone tells me all the time. What did you think of where you just were? I didn't ask you. I didn't even want you to know where I just was. Like, you were parked in this place for 45 minutes at the Fred Meyer.
Yeah. We're already in that cage.
We are.
We're already there. This is a prison without bars right here. So we're walking around in it.
So what is the stance here in this area for our belief? I mean, what does Louisiana feel? It seems like, Chris, the news, you can't believe anything.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, I'm in the stores, I'm seeing, we want Obama back, we want Obama back. I mean, I'm seeing all these things in the stores.
You're in a liberal cesspool.
Here?
Of course.
Oh my God, you are too. You are.
Every city is a liberal cesspool. There's very few cities that are not liberal cesspools.
When I feel like I'm in the South, like I went to the Carolinas and such, I would see a lot of Republican signs 3 years ago.
Don't you, when you get outside of Seattle and get in the country, find it as a different world?
All you have to do is go over the pass.
Thank you. All you have to do is go over that bridge.
The farmers.
Yes.
They're all on
it. So go over that bridge.
You know, they're worthless because there's like one of them and there's a million of these, so it doesn't even do it to vote. Those people can't even vote.
Look, again, that's why, we know that all that's why they want to do away with the electoral college and all.
Right.
But that's why the founding fathers, bless their little genius hearts.
They're going to make it go away. They'll do anything they can do to make it work for them.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's going to go back to revolution before it goes back to anything. These people will not gain power again without cheating.
Oh, they
can't.
Yeah.
You see, everything's changed. We're not getting, like you mentioned, we're not getting our news anymore from here.
I stopped watching
We're talking to one another. We get on YouTube. We go to, we talk radio, or, if it's, or like the Fight Club, you kind of know what's going on.
You're under there.
Yeah, right. You got to know who's what.
I do not watch the news. I haven't watched it for really
long time. They're dying. They know they're dead. I mean, they're yesterday. Bingo, right? There's a lady over there kind of looking at my work, and I was like, she came over and got to talking. I asked where she's from, Washington, D.C. Interesting. I said, what do you do? What do you do there? She said, well, I'm retired now. I said, from? She goes, I was a producer for Hardball, MSNBC. I went, Spit Matthews? And she laughed when I said Spit Matthews, So I brought her, I says, and I showed her this, and I says, no one believes the news anymore.
Right.
You know that. And she goes, well, there's a reason for that. I go, well, why don't you give it to me? And she says, well, that'd take more time
than I have.
I said, let me shorten it up for you. It's because you lie. And she didn't
get offended.
Oh, mildly so. This is a thing. See,
nice.
They know that there's something wrong. Yeah. They know they've lost touch.
Yeah.
I mean, they know that there's a reason people hate them. They can't figure out why.
They're not very smart.
You understand that? Well, not all of them are. Well, actually, a lot of them are. Just again, this is the psychology of how brilliant the devil is here. The compartmentalization that they're put in, and there are good ones in there because again, they couldn't perpetuate the lies without some good people in there giving them credibility.
Yeah.
So it's there's three kinds of propaganda. black, gray, white. Black is pure lies. Gray is a mixture of, which is most of the news.
Yeah.
And then white is just pure trying to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in order to sell credibility, the devil always has to, you sell the the lie with the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So to sell credibility, there is always a little mixture of lies, but most of the lies are through omission. That's why when the lady, when I said, because you lied, she took mild. I could see her, and I said, now let me explain. Not that you outright lie. A lot of the lies you say is what you do not say.
Yeah.
And she says, well, like what? I says, well, like 9/11 for one. She goes, well, what with 9/11? And it's sort of like, excuse me, because if you talk to enough people, most people know 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, it's just, buildings don't fall like that. Okay? My eyes didn't go, okay, that makes sense to me. No, that did not happen. And, when you look into it and start looking at it, and more questions come up, and you go, wait a second. If nothing else, at the very least, we've been lied to about this, and we need to find out the truth. Something else happened. We don't know what. We haven't had a full investigation, but there's enough to know this that we can find out. And look, anybody with a search engine can start doing this, not just someone that...
I think my son's into that. He's been talking about that.
Yeah, not anybody just spends... Like I've watched, 50 documentaries. I've talked to numerous eyewitnesses out here. I talked to one of the founders of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, which is over 3,000 professional architects and engineers, some of them the best in the world, that have studied those collapses and signed their names saying those buildings came down by controlled demolition.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I'll give you the information on it. Sure. And so I met one of their founders out here. I'm just not hardly a day that goes by. I don't run into an architect or a fireman out here. We get to talking about it. And I would say 90% of them believe that it was a false flag operation.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So let's cut that in half. Let's say 45% of the populace. Absolute. That's still millions of people. A lot of them are professionals in the field. I mean, I talked to a demolition expert out here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there's something screwy with that. Those buildings came down by demolition. This guy is a demolition expert.
And he thinks that?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look at all the other wars they put us in on lies. Vietnam was a complete lie. How many people died? How many billions of dollars
we lost
were
so
lost?
many schoolmates from that.
World War II was a lie. We knew that attack was coming. But we fostered it. We made that happen. World War I was a lie. Every war we've ever been into, they've lied us into, and millions of people got killed.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they bring down 3 buildings and kill 3,000 people? What do they care?
It's nothing compared to what's been going on, right?
Right. Or the millions of, look, Mao starved what? How many tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people? Stalin, how many hundreds of millions did he starve to death? I mean, democide is like... That kills more people than all the diseases, car accidents, and anything in the world is governments.
Yeah.
So, you're looking at this incredible... So, of course they lie us into wars, they put fluoride in our water, they poison our vaccines, they spray chemtrails in the air, we don't know what the hell they do. They've tainted the earth. I mean... I think they're trying to kill us.
I never get those stupid shots. It drives me crazy.
Of course not.
My husband gets them every year and goes, and do you tell me that you don't get the flu? Well, it's a different strain. So then why in the hell do you get the shot?
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Ask him to read the insert one time.
Well, you know what? We don't have the vaccine for it this year, but get the one from last year.
Yeah, but because the thing changes every year, so you put the thing, you're just like, what do you put in your...
It drives me crazy. So do you get to talk to many people that are on your side, or do you just kind of hang out all day?
Oh, no.
You don't change anybody's minds, right?
Yes.
Do you really? Do you?
Oh, absolutely. I've got it on video. I mean, if you go to the back of this get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton.
This. I love that.
Yeah, I video. You've been videoed. This whole great conversation has
No.
just been, yeah, we're just going on.
Get out of jail. Oh my God, this is so funny.
But there was an engineer out here. This is great. This guy was 34 years, aircraft engineer, Air Force. Saw the 9/11 poster I had.
Where is that?
It's on the other side.
Oh, okay.
And we got to talking. And he believed the official story. 20 minutes later, he's coming back to me after he leaves. He comes back and he starts telling me about his son who was at the Pentagon, and he had questions about that. And so he immediately, in like a 20-minute period, he went from point A to point Z.
Really? So what made him think about with that Pentagon?
Well, there are many things about the Pentagon, but when you look at it, they're trying to tell us that a hollow aluminum plane. Hollow aluminum, that's what a plane is.
Oh.
They make it out of aluminum and it's hollow.
Oh, yeah.
They make it as light as possible because, it's big and they need to get it off the ground. So the idea is to cut the weight down to as low as possible, right? So the shell of your plane is very thin. It's just, the structural integrity is put in by the ribs and whatnot. But the shell is very thin. So they want to tell us that a hollow aluminum plane went through 8 18-inch thick steel-enforced concrete walls, making a perfect circle in each one of them, with no damage on either side of that circle where the wings allegedly would have hit.
So it was a specific area, or why then? Why?
Well, the day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld was on TV saying, well, we just can't find $2.3 trillion in the Pentagon budget. Oh, but we're looking for it. Well, the very next day, the place that got hit, where were all the auditors and all of that.
No way. No.
All that evidence went up in smoke. So where's the plane? You don't see the engines, the wings, nothing. But they're trying to tell us a hollow aluminum plane.
There was never anything found there?
Bits and pieces, but they could, again, it's not a plane. What they found was not a plane. You could pick up some of the bits and pieces. They're trying to tell us that a jet flying that low, which is impossible anyway, 4 feet off the ground, you cannot fly a commercial jet 4 feet off the ground in a straight line from here to that brick building. You can't do it. It is physically impossible to do that.
Wow.
It can't be done. You just can't do it.
And we have no pictures. There's no pictures of that.
Thank you. Which you got to remember, the Pentagon was surrounded by cameras. There were 80 cameras in that vicinity. 5 minutes after that incident, men in black were going around confiscating all of the security cameras.
I'm going to have to read about this. Thank you. Yes. Interesting. I'm on your page. But it's just been so interesting.
Well, thank you.
Here's my little bucket.
Thank you. God bless you. It's very nice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some money there.
Well, that's a good thing.
And you live here, right?
Yeah.
How long have you lived here? Always?
Oh, no.
Where are you from?
Well, it depends on how far back you want to go.
You've been traveling.
Yeah, I've been around here.
Nice. Do you like it here?
Well, you make, like you. I'm going to ask you, do you like in Seattle?
Yeah.
It's like you
have to stay
you make it with you're the best you can out of it. This is a different kind of city. It's very eclectic, in the sense. This is a hub. There are people from all around the world I'm speaking to.
Right.
For what I'm doing right now, it's good. Who knows what the future holds for me?
You have a cause.
But I know this: things are not going to remain the same very much longer. Well, one way or the other, all of our lives are going to have to change.
Yeah.
It is not going to be a normal.
Wow. I have to go look at the 9/11 poster on the other side.
Yeah. Reading Tom Horne's autobiography. He's one of the gentlemen that was supposed to appear at this conference I went to, the True Legends, and everybody there who was my hero would be Stephen Quayle and David Knight and Owen Schroyer and Dolan and Dr. Hugo de Garis, all these incredible minds. They looked to Tom Horne as their hero. So, you know, these are sort of the people that are from one generation putting it into the next of where we're going, to the best of our knowledge. But the ones that are aware of the changes that are taking place. Like each one of these guys, Dr. Hugo de Garis was, he's a world leader in artificial intelligence. So he was actually in charge of China's artificial intelligence program until they fired him because he got political. I know. Yeah, and you can't do that over there.
No,
they're even worse than they are in Seattle, you know, in China.
I think, but they're probably real close.
Yeah, right, indeed. Well, yeah, indeed, very close. Probably, I can't tell the difference right now.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, I know, probably. Yeah, we're not joking here, folks. And yeah, really.
Can you go online and see these? I mean, did you give me? Because
yes.
I love this one. I love those two.
Yeah. You can get that at. I wore this shirt at the conference.
Oh, nice.
And got a lot of great comments on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well.
Oh, wait till you grow up, then things really get bad.
I like that.
Thank you. I've been talking to him forever. You should talk. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.